needing to do that. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go. And here we go, guys. Welcome to our first game between Miguel and Slam for the All-Star League Round 5. And this is going to be a 3-game set between these guys. Going into this, we've got Killer B once again as our co-caster here.
Hey, Zach, thanks for having me. Yeah, we've got hopefully a really competitive set of games ahead of us. Miguel and Slam here in game 1 will be on Baltc, everybody's favorite map. And we will see, what are we seeing here for civs? Turks v Turks. Interesting civ for this matchup. Sorry, what's on your mind?
Oh, just the Turks. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I'm excited now, and you should be too, because if you don't know already, the Turks are scientifically proven to be the best civ in this game, and this is going to be a hell of a match. I'm sure of it. We've got Slam down to the southwest, playing in the blue, and we've got Miguel up to the northwest in the green. It's kind of a weird Baltc, though, actually. The map gen looks a little bit unusual for Baltc. Normally, the lake's a little bit more circular.
Yeah, it is a smaller and basically rectangular lake, which is pretty weird. But yeah, I mean, that does actually make the walling, it just looks like an easier map to wall than usual. It's not any different. Both players will have a huge side of the map, though. If they do decide to wall up, they're going to have a massive space to work with, tons of resources, which could mean a huge post-Imperial battle in this game. But I suppose that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, I do get the feeling like this is the kind of map that could lend itself quite well to a late game. But obviously, the focus for these guys in the early to mid game is definitely going to be on that water and making sure that they can control the fish and control this the center of the map, which is going to be really valuable to them as they get later and later into the match. As you said, though, if they do sort of cover off the flanks or whatever, there is a lot of space here to play with. Miguel definitely has the better map, though, in my opinion. I mean, he's got 4 gold on his side. It's all really easily accessible. No nasty hills anywhere. He's got a lot of space to build, whereas Slam's a little bit more pushed towards the edge of the map. His 4th gold, or the bonus gold down in the south, is a little bit hard to find, a little bit inaccessible. But still, I mean, for now, both players are going to have very, very fine maps, and they're going to be happy with what they've got, let's put it that way. And yeah, I mean, obviously we're just going to see that sort of slow and steady start to the game. What do the Turks get on the water, though? Because obviously with the expansions, I always need to check who gets fire galleys, who gets demo rafts. And the Turks, we know they've got great cannon galleons, but they've actually got pretty good water here as well in the expansions with the fire galley and the demo raft.
Yeah, before we say that, let me just say quickly, Miguel, a little bit annoyed by his boar going back. A little bit of an awkward boar lure for him, having to lure it twice. But yeah, let's talk Turks water. Let's talk Turkey. Turks have faster gold miners by 20%, which is actually important for a water map because you do need to mine gold to keep up your boat production. That does free up some villagers who can go over to wood or to food earlier. So see if players adjust to faster gold miners. You also have +2 range for cannon galleons. We probably won't see a ton of those, but it could happen. Free chemistry, and really everything except for fast fire ships is available. So this is a really nice civ to play water with. And oh boy,
what is Slam doing? Oh my god!
Yeah, we've got a boar steal.
Yeah, it's gone back. Slam, I can't believe he tried to lame that. That would have been one hell of an undertaking, especially since the boars have the +6 damage versus the scouts in the expansions as well. I can't believe he even tried it, but what a cheeky boy. He's probably saying sorry to himself as he runs away now.
Sorry, I believe, is the Canadian version of sorry.
Yeah, there you go. You got some Slam sorries in the chat.
Sorry. But yeah, I mean, if he could have lamed that boar, it would have been a huge advantage. But nothing going so far. There's still a couple of sheep, actually, that Slam wasn't able to find on his way around. But the blue player's scout is forward, and Miguel's scout is just now working his way the long way across the map.
I'm trying to spot it. Oh, yeah, it's over there, of course. He's actually going to go back so we can get the sheep. Which is nice. He's going to grab the 2 sheep there on the top side. And as you quite rightly said, Slam did miss the 2 sheep down here. But I think, well, you'd think he would find them eventually. I don't know how he missed them the first time, to be honest. But yeah, they're just in the fog of war there. Those bonus sheep can have quite an impact. Obviously, once you hit feudal, your food economy is going to be pretty crappy, and all your villas are on the gold and the wood. So having the extra sheep there just to kind of act as a buffer before you have to start building farms or a mill is definitely very nice. Slam currently has 5 sheep under his TC as he clicks up to feudal. Miguel has 1. So I like Slam's position. And what's going on with Miguel right now? Oh, he's doing loom. He's housed, he's doing loom, and he's quite late to click up in comparison.
Yeah, Miguel and Slam both grab loom, but Miguel building 1 extra vill. That housing is actually annoying, even though that he's clicked up. He still would like to build another fishing ship, which he can't do at the moment. Slam is going to add in his second dock, but interestingly, Miguel's scout is in the right neighborhood to potentially slow that dock down. Slam's going to go ahead and palisade that villager in. So really nice forethought and play from Slam, who sends 3 villagers over to gold for now. It's going to be 2 docks for Slam, obviously an early water push, and he's going to beat Miguel the Feudal Age by 30 seconds.
Yeah, which is very nice. It's going to be quite the advantage. Obviously, the rush distance isn't as as small as we saw in that last game with Nikov versus Backed, but it's definitely going to be short enough that this is going to make a difference. This 30 seconds window where Slam can make a couple of fires and start killing some fish. Now, I like that. This is interesting. You said before, you know, the Turks get that 20% gold gather advantage. Slam's only sent... Oh, sorry, bonus. Slam's only sent 3 vills to gold. Now, the standard number to make fire galleys is 4. Slam's only sent 3, but he's going to be able to do fire galleys anyway. And that's kind of a nice little adaptation there.
Yeah, we should never do math on stream, they say. But in this case, I think it actually is a really important point that he's got an extra villager now who's able to roam around and probably grab a little extra food from sheep, I suppose. Third dock coming from Slam. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say all wood because he can get that third dock up a little faster now as a result. And like the bottleneck is probably going to be gold now as he sends the 4th villager over. But the third dock very quick for Slam, considering he did 4 fishing ships as well. The third dock coming up pretty quick. Meanwhile, he's chasing away Miguel's scout on the north side. And we're going to see the first boats coming out, first fire galleys on the way over. As Miguel is, well, not ready yet. The demolition raft coming out first from Miguel, not something I'm fond of personally as an opening move, because look, he gets like what 68 damage on the fire galley, and now he's only got 1 fire galley versus 2. Demolition raft gone.
Unfortunate for him that he couldn't find some bunched up ships. Maybe a little bit of a misplay. Slam is actually not harassing fish as much as he's denying a dock.
Yes.
You see this? Beautiful
Very
play.
nice. And he brings his higher health scout into fight as well. He could even kill the scout from Miguel here. Kill the scout! Slam! Come on. Oh. You know, I think if he'd have attacked the scout, he would have killed the villager.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely could have killed both, at least by my approximation. But a bigger deal here is that Miguel hasn't sent another vill, so his third dock remains on about 80%. In the meantime, Slam pumping out fire galleys from 3 docks seems to be in a really great position to take over that water completely. Finally, Miguel able to bring a vill over to finish the third dock. But the ships at the moment are actually 5-5, so it's not that huge of a difference just yet.
Oh, it's not so bad at all for Miguel, actually. It definitely looked a little worse than it was. This demolition ship, oh, that was nice. That was a good one. Yeah, absolutely. He hits all 3 of those fire galleys. He takes one down, brings one down to 10 health, and he's actually going to have a little bit of an upper hand on the water, which is very surprising to me. I wonder if maybe, I mean, looking at the KD, it's not even that Slam's idled his docks at all. It's that Miguel's actually taken better fights. He's got 4 kills, 5 kills, and only 1 lost so far, which doesn't seem right, but somehow is. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a really nice... I'm sorry?
How has he only lost 1 unit? That's crazy.
Yeah, Miguel here has done a really nice job early. And what's interesting is... that, you know what is interesting about the overlay? I wonder if a demo ship killing itself counts as a unit lost.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a couple demo ships explode, but we only see 1 death for Miguel.
I think maybe it doesn't count. I think maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, it can't.
But
Can't
you know
count.
what? This is really nice. Miguel did a really nice little move there. He brings his villager over to repair his fire galley, and it was at 2 health. And he repairs it enough to keep it alive to actually push Slam back. And he actually prevents himself losing another ship as he repairs this up. So he came in at just the right time with that. And now the ships are in favor of Miguel. He's got the full HP fire galleys moving out, and Demo Raft's going to come and trade each other off immediately, but Miguel should have the upper hand, I think.
Yeah, Miguel's got a really nice advantage too that he has his scout and he's kept that pretty active. It doesn't have very high HP. It's not like he can harass Vils, but he's been scouting the map out pretty nicely, getting a good idea of what's going on. Big fight in the center at the moment. Demo ships coming from all angles from Slam. He will dwindle Miguel's army down by a lot. Blue ships on all sides of this. It's kind of hard to say who's winning. Total ship number +1 for Slam at the moment.
Yeah, it really hurts to see the Demo Rafts coming out and just like running themselves into a single fire galley. It just doesn't make sense. It's like the Demo Rafts are more expensive as well, so it's just never a good trade. But still, I think they both kind of jostled around on the water quite a bit, and they're actually both in a very similar position still. So it's kind of gone a little bit back and forth over there. Slam has a lot of villagers on gold right now. He's sending more villagers over as well. 9 villagers out on gold there as he builds a market. And he's going to look to get to the castle age, probably sell a little bit of stone to get himself up a little faster. Meanwhile, I've got the blacksmith market coming up for Miguel, and he's probably going to do very similar here. But interesting that the food advantage is so large for Slam. Does he have additional fishing ships? No. I think it could actually even be in part due to the fact that he had the extra sheep under his TC, that he actually has an additional like 100 food in the bank.
Yeah, market blacksmith coming down from Miguel, so he can start switching into galleys if he wants to after getting the fletching upgrade. Slam will just have a market here in a moment. And yeah, the fishing number is +1 for Miguel. But Slam, at the moment, like you said, having a lot of food. Miguel's moving out with his ships now, though, and Slam is... They're kind of switching sides on the water. Slam's got Miguel's side now, and Miguel has Slam's side. Really strange battle going on.
Oh, and Miguel's going to go for the fish. I think Slam needs to do the same. Breakaway, yeah, immediately. Look at that. Like, as soon as he sees, okay, my fish are being attacked, he immediately breaks away a fire galley and goes straight for the fish of Miguel. It's all about just making the trades. If you can't get an advantage, at least trade evenly, and that's exactly what Slam's trying to do here as well, as the fishing ships are now running away for both players. But Slam is about to hit the castle age first. He's got 800 food, 400 gold. He can click up right now. As you can see, he did sell his stone at the market. He sold the 200 starting stone to get the additional gold boost. Surprisingly, I think he's focused a little too much on, maybe not too much, but he is definitely focused heavily on microing his army in the middle. So that castle age upgrade was quite delayed compared to what it could have been. But yeah, both players up to castle now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Slam maybe missing about 10-15 seconds. He could have clicked up a little sooner. Hard to believe that we're watching players who are at this good of a level, but we'll see if 10 or 15 seconds turns out to be important. Sometimes we see ships being upgraded mid-battle on the water, and Miguel, in this case, will have a couple of second advantage. For the moment, though, both guys reinforcing water, and Miguel is still relatively active with his scout, which is still roaming around the map, getting an idea of what Slam's up to. Really nice to be able to put some eyes on your opponent. You can assume what they're doing, but for instance, if Miguel could find this archery range that Slam is building, he would be greatly benefited.
Well, he doesn't even need to find the archery range, because if you look at Miguel's scouting, he has seen the barracks from Slam. And that doesn't necessarily mean that Slam's going to follow it up with a range, but it definitely tells him that, okay, well, if he's got a barracks, it's likely he's going to add an archery range, especially since you're not going to be looking to build a barracks and archery range in order to click to the castle age. You're always going to be looking to build the market blacksmith. But interestingly, actually, Miguel didn't sell any stone to get to the castle age either. So I'd put Miguel quite far ahead here. The fact that he didn't sell stone and he's faster to the castle age, the fact that he's seen the barracks and he's prepared by building a stable of his own, and he's actually going to add a couple of scouts at the moment, which is interesting as well.
Yeah, Miguel has really idled his docks for quite a while. He's got a couple fire galleys queued now, but you can see he's got one army at the moment, and that is probably his scout. He basically gave up on building water for a couple seconds there. Slam continued to build some fire galleys here and there, so he's going to control water for the moment. Miguel adding in a stable, like you said, and like Cav, Slam adding in an archery range. And let's see, has he queued any archers just yet? Not quite yet.
No, he made a couple of skirms on the right side. They've left the range. Interesting that he would add 3 skirmishers, though. I mean, is Slam anticipating something here? I mean, not sure.
I think it's a scouting play. I'm not quite sure. I think if you have 2 skirms, you can avoid a wolf taking you down. But I don't know. He's got 3 skirms and they're patrolling. They're not scouting. They're just hanging out on top of the hill.
Interesting, especially since, I mean, the Turks, the best bonus in the game, light cavalry for free, Hussar for free. It doesn't get much better than that, guys. And they're actually, oh my goodness, they're actually going to come in time to delay this wall. And Slam, he can't close this in time. He won't be able to do it with 1 villager. Even if he kills this scout, the second one's right behind it. And he's only got skirms now to defend as well. So Miguel in a great position here. Slam's going to try and close the wall, but nah, that's not going to happen, Slam. Miguel's going to take the villager down, and there's now a gap, a hole, so to speak, for Miguel to go through.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20, but Slam could have quick-walled that and gotten that palisade wall completed pretty easily. Tried to build every single palisade to 100%, and unfortunately is going to get caught now a little bit with his pants down. He does have a spearman out, but those light cav are roaming into his eco. There are some TCs to defend this, but these 3 skirms just look to be a bigger and bigger waste of resource at the moment.
Yeah, the light cav can get in, and of course, like, this hasn't really cost Miguel much at all. It's just, you know, free upgrade to light cav, a little bit of food. He'll kill a villager, no problem. And Slam should now go out to close this wall off because, well, maybe not actually. It's kind of risky. There's nothing to support his units, but still, it's worth maybe sending 1 vill to see if he can get that closed up before any more units come through. But yeah, nice play by Miguel. And meanwhile, Miguel's got his second TC up. And Slam has his second TC as well. But remember that Slam sold all of his stone. So he had to buy stone here in order to actually build the second town center. Meanwhile, on the water, what's going on over there? It looks like ship number 4 apiece for both players. And Slam's going to have a small advantage by the looks of things. Both players losing all of their fish so far.
Yeah, Slam had a pretty big advantage there with fire ships over Miguel. Miguel waited for the right moment, had a nice sneaky demo, and is basically back near equal footing on the water, which is actually surprising. Slam was up about 6-1 ships for a little bit there. These couple of light cav from the green player Miguel are a little idle, and it looks like Slam will send a spearman over and finish those walls on the corner. So Miguel, for the moment, a little bit idle with his land army, but winning back the water, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, the question is right now, I mean, how valuable is the water at this point in the game? It's probably not that huge, but the thing is with water maps is that you don't want to lose the water because the longer the game goes, the more valuable the water becomes, because, especially as the Turks as well. We mentioned before about cannon galleons. The Turks obviously have the +2 range. If you're in the post-Imperial Age, super late game, your opponent has full water, and they start making cannon galleons, you're screwed. But, you know, that's a long-term thing. Even in the mid-game, just having your opponent having like an extra 5-6 fishing ships is going to be a huge disadvantage to you. All that additional food that they're gathering for free. Yeah, it just kind of, it always makes the water worth fighting for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels to me like Miguel is just keeping Slam busy. He's just trying to stay somewhere near even. He is sending 4 vills over to stone, and we see him actually piling up a bit of stone, a couple hundred in the bank. So keep that in mind. He might build a castle on the shoreline at some point here. But yeah, these 2 players skirmishing in the middle. The ship numbers have really dwindled down. Guys are focusing a little bit more on building up eco. And for the moment, it's still really been a good game for Miguel to find out what Slam's doing. But Slam has been playing this one entirely in the dark. He just really has no scouting of his opponent's current position.
Yeah, if you look at his scouting, I mean, he's not left his walls since the Castle Age, really, has he? He did make the couple of skirms, but they haven't really gone very far or looked much further than defending from the light cavs. So, yeah, Miguel at the moment actually has won the water back, 6 ships to 1. And really, both players focusing much more on booming on the land then on the sea. And in fact, we've got a 4th TC coming up for Miguel. The 3rd TC is up for Slam. But I feel like Miguel is definitely one step ahead here. I mean, he's 11 villages ahead, that's for sure. Plus the water control. Miguel could add a couple of fish now if he likes, but probably doesn't want to take that risk. And he's just happy to boom up on the land with farms and start looking towards that Imperial Age.
Yeah, it's sort of been a slowdown for a bit. We see Slam adding in a monastery, probably thinking about doing double duty there. Maybe grabbing a relic and having one more building for his click up. Monastery comes out, he queues a monk immediately. I think he'll grab a few relics there for not too much effort.
I was going to say that. I mean, I was just looking at his scouting because there's actually 3 relics in the south, very close to his monastery, but he's only scouted one of them. So, you know, with the monk, at least it has a huge line of sight. So if he does come down here, he'll probably see the others. There's even a relic on the far left side that he could grab. And it's, you know, there's a potential for Slam to actually grab 4 relics quite easily here, which, as the game wears on, that could actually be a really big advantage to him. For now, I mean, it's certainly worth, like, doing it anyway. As you said, like, double duty, he needs the building anyway. And meanwhile, he's continuing to make some units on the water, probably just enough to save his docks from going down.
Slam's going to go and is he going to try to get a conversion here? His initial monk is going to the east. He's headed toward the water, which is interesting. The docks from Slam here are getting really low on HP. He's got fire ships and demo ships queued, and it looks like he's going to jump out here and try to grab a conversion.
Yeah, but why isn't he ungarrisoning from the south? He's got 2 fires in there. And another demolition ship. It's kind of wasted here that these units are sitting inside. There you go. They're going out now. And he is going to be able to push Miguel away from his docks just in time to save them from going down. Not that that's a huge deal, but it would be more ideal not to have to rebuild them later on. And yeah, interestingly, you know, Slam just on the 3 TCs, whilst Miguel is on the 4, currently behind by 20 villagers, but maybe he can click up first. Nah, that's not going to happen either. It's going to be Miguel who will click up to the Imperial Age first. So I feel like Slam is really falling behind here, and I'm not sure what he's really going to do to pull himself back into it.
Yeah, Miguel has the resources just about, and he has the buildings. Slam will take back over the water, but again, I think the lack of scouting has him kind of confused. I mean, if he knew his opponent was on 4 TCs, he might understand better what is going on. Maybe he just knows from the score, but if it were me playing, I would have thought, oh, my opponent has a bunch of ships, they're putting pressure on me, they have a better score, but I have a better eco. But that is not the case. Slam here is adding in some war galleys. It does look like he'll be a force to be reckoned with on the water. Miguel, though, with 750 stone, can start building a castle, and he can build docks beneath that castle. Look at the villagers coming forward on the left side. It's got 8 vills now coming forward, and that castle is so aggressive. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I really like this castle from Miguel. He can build behind this as well, so he's going to have some forward buildings to launch this attack from. And, I mean, okay, it doesn't really cover anything, but it definitely serves as a nice platform for him to push forward from. And, okay, Slam's going to scout this. He's going to send a couple of monks over, but the light cavalry are in position. He's going to be able to take them out the monks out really quickly here, prevent any villagers from getting killed off, and he's going to get the castle up safely.
Yeah, 2 monks going down for 2 light cav, or for 1 light cav. Horrible trade. The castle will go up for Miguel. And if this is a dance right now, Miguel is certainly the lead in this particular. He's leading the momentum here. Scale barding armor coming for Slam. Miguel is actually going to go leather archer armor, which is interesting. I don't see an archery range, but that's a interesting development to keep your eyes on. We've got Jans coming. Beautiful.
And archery range is behind, so he can start pumping out some hand cannons as well. Siege workshops coming up, so he can start pumping out bombard cannons. And I mean, it's going to be real tough now because Slam has got a monumental task of dealing with mass gunpowder units from Miguel in the Castle Age, because he's still a long way from clicking up to him, and this is going to be a real challenge for him. Yeah, I mean, right now the water control doesn't matter for Slam, because he's not going to be Imperial, so he can't use it. He has to defend on the land, and he has no defense on the land right now.
And this has really been the story of this game. Neither guy really didn't really look like either guy wanted to really win the water. They just wanted to keep their opponent busy. And eventually Slam, who was getting a lot of pressure on his docks, will end up basically over investing in water. And in the meantime, Miguel will catch him a little bit off guard, a lot off guard. 3 siege workshops, bombard cannons coming out. Slam is going to have his hands absolutely full here. Let's see. Slam has queued a couple of battering rams to try to come in here and maybe snipe these cannons, but we'll see if he can get that done. It's a really big task for him.
Definitely, and the cannons hit pretty hard against the rams as well, so I mean, he's making knights right now, and Slam's basically, he's like, okay, I've got to really go hard on the Castle Age military now if I have any chance of holding this off. The problem is, even knights with bloodlines, they're going to get blasted by these gunpowder units, and they're going to go down very quickly. So quickly, in fact, that Slam's going to call GG right there. Goodness me.
Yeah, I think it's a well-deserved GG. Miguel, I would say baited Slam into, jebaited Slam, I suppose, into really pushing on the water. Miguel went imp sooner. He had more vills. He had stone for a castle. And he basically went into the Imperial Age build that you go into when you have Turks, which is some gunpowder, some cannons, and a couple of light cav mixed in.
Yeah, it was very nice. And I mean, it's kind of a interesting game because both players just kind of sat back and built their eco up. But I think the big takeaway was that Slam kind of stunted his economy growth by having to sell the stone to get to the Castle Age faster. He seemed to put a lot of emphasis on getting to the Castle Age as quickly as he could to fight for the water. And then neither player really did that much on the water when they got to the Castle Age. They kind of had a few small fights with like 4 or 5 ships, but then they both sat back and boomed anyway. And at that point, Slam then had to buy stone. He didn't build his 4th TC, and neither player took advantage of the fact, well, or went for the water really. I mean, Slam didn't take advantage of the fact that he had the water in the end by building any fish to support his economy, for example. And in the end, of course, Miguel with the bigger eco gets to the Imperial Age faster, and then what can Slam really do in this position now? By the time he hits Imp himself, his economy will be gone. So it's kind of GG right there, and he knows it.
Yeah, really nice game from Miguel. I think that was Miguel's home map, or no, the first one is random, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll see the home map from Slam next, I suppose, since he will be the loser. And maybe we'll see Miguel sort of break into a pattern. He's had a rough start to this tournament, but beating a player like Slam in game 1 here so thoroughly, I would say, has to give him some confidence. And hopefully we'll see Miguel become a major factor in the tournament going forward.
And here we go, guys. We are in game for game number 2. Miguel versus Slam. Slam's home map now, Arabia. As we go into this one with Killer Bee, once again, I'll let you introduce the players and the civs.
Alrighty, game number 2, like you said, Slam's home map. We'll see Miguel pick Indians. No big surprise there. Indians have been a powerful civ throughout this series. They've been used a lot. Slam is going to go with Britons. So Slam will be able to do things like build those archers and get extra range as he goes to Castle and Imperial Age. And he'll also have less expensive TCs, faster shepherds as well, of course. So Slam here is going to go with a method that we've seen before, which is, maybe he's going to go with an archer-based army, which has been a little bit difficult for the Indians to deal with. But we'll see as this game moves forward. Red player Miguel in the right side of the map, playing his Indians, has a closable map, but resources kind of in a tough location. His gold will not be closed in very easily. I guess it will be closed in pretty easily. In general, actually a very, very wallable and defensible map for Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel's woodline at the front kind of like covering so much. It's really nice, but I just want to clarify with you. I've got Miguel in the blue right now. You might want to put team colors on or off because the overlay wasn't matching up with the it wasn't matching up with the player colors. So I fixed it so that it kind of works. But yes, you're right about the map, and it's such a huge woodline going across the front. He could easily wall that, and I think as the Indians, that's something that you're going to be pretty happy with. But I like Slam's choice to go Brits here. I do think the Brits are a really strong civ. And against the Indians, I think the theory is, okay, they're going to fare pretty well in the Castle Age. The Brits crossbows with the extra range, should be good against the camels. Should be good against skirms if you use the range well and support with a couple of mangonels, and they're good against mangonels as well. So I think Slam's thinking maybe Castle Age Power Spike for the Brits is where he really wants to play this from.
Yeah, Slam here has 4 Vils on wood early, but that could just be because of his sheep bonus. Got to put that extra Vil somewhere. We see Slam build men at arms really often on Arabia. That could be something we see in this match. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, some sort of drush / wall, or even just straight up walling for Miguel could be really, really nice for him for the late game. Certainly would have a lot of very safe resources because of that long front wood line.
Yeah, the only downside I'm seeing here, well, 2 downsides actually, is Villager pulling the boar in. Look at this, Tragedy Loom. And he's going to lose the boar. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, that was close. That was close. But yeah, this boar is really awkward to go through this small choke. And Slam could have actually been a lamer and actually come in there and done some laming. But a little bit late. Even still, I mean, he had to do Loom first, which actually puts Miguel down by 1 villager right now. Exactly the kind of start that Slam is hoping for, I suppose. And I think as well, there's one kind of weakness here with this potential wall off, and that's that this stone is going to be exposed. And we know that Slam likes his men-at-arms and his towers, and maybe he will think, hey, you know what, that's a very forward stone mine. His second stone is way off to the north. Maybe, just maybe, I'll trush it. But I still feel like the Castle Age might be where he wants to go with this.
Yeah, T90 saying that he's lucky to get that boar through, and he absolutely is.
Yes.
I mean, I can't tell you how many villagers I've lost to boars like that. It makes me so mad. It's like, what is this map? But Miguel is a pro, and he gets the job done here. Continuing to, actually starting to wall up a bit. He's going to use his houses to block in that front area. And for the moment, heading over to grab his second boar, which is also incredibly awkward. Not quite as bad, but still behind the wood line.
And it's got to go around the gold as well. So he's absolutely right to get the loom here. And I think as well, obviously, he had to go for the boar on the front first, but it's such a pain in the ass to get that through the gap. And especially on HD as well, with the boars going back more often. I don't know if they've kind of fixed that in this latest patch. I think they have. I've not seen it happen so much. But a little while ago, the boars were going back a lot. And that obviously would have been a real problem for Miguel there. But, he does get it in. Obviously, the boar is aware of his pro status. And, well, look at this. Slam's going to come in and see the villager gather in the gold. It's all the info he needs right now.
I think that's a really nice thing for Slam to be able to find. Miguel is going to find a really weird backdoor into Slam's woodline. This pond is not closed in the north for Slam, so keep that in mind. That could be consequential later if Slam doesn't close it. But yeah, both guys are drushing, and Slam certainly knows Miguel is drushing. Miguel here is about to find out. I think he's going to scout forward and find his opponent's barracks as well. So a true drush from both players here.
Yeah, will he see it though? I mean, you'd think he'd come across the front, so he should. But yeah, I think this is a good strat for both players to make in this game. I think Slam especially, kind of going for that. Is he actually? Hold on, I want to check. Yeah, he's committed to the drush here with 3 militia coming out, and Miguel's now going to see that. But yeah, I think this is a good play for both players to make in this situation.
Yeah, at the moment, we are seeing both players put their drush out. Slam's a little bit ahead on food, which is kind of surprising to me. He's about 50 food ahead. 3 militia drush from both guys. At the moment, they are working their way toward one another. Armies could meet in the middle. Miguel would have a slight advantage there. He'd have a major advantage because his scout is a little bit closer to the fight. Slam is also going to run into a wolf here, almost definitely. Walking through a channel now. Actually, could he get past it? Yeah, he's going to get past it.
Yeah, he is. Going to skirt just out of range of that wolf. And it's interesting because he actually got quite a lot of free damage on Miguel's scout. So if Slam does fight with his scout as well, then that's actually going to be a good win for him. But he's actually going back with the militia, aware that perhaps he actually passed Miguel. And meanwhile, he's trying to wall up as well. But I believe that the militia from Miguel are actually going to make it there in time. Damn HD in your slow walling. Meaning that Slam isn't going to be able to close this off in time, and Miguel might just slip these guys into that backwood again.
Yeah, Miguel at the moment making a really nice choice. He realized he was going to finish his palisades on the bottom of the map, and he turned his army to the north to do some offensive damage. Slam is trying to quick wall, and he will actually quick wall that with a couple of ills.
Yeah, but the palisade on the corner is going to go down, and he's in. But, you know, quick reaction from Slam anyway. His own men, militia are directly behind. But still, I mean, if he could pick a villager here, that would be nice. And, I mean, he's close, but no cigar. No cigar for Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel here doing a really nice job to keep Slam on the defensive, making that Drush go back. It's given the red player time to finish. We have Miguel in red, right? To finish the entire wall off. So he's going to be double palisaded back at home. Really safe.
Yeah, we do have Miguel in red. I'm so confused. Like, the overlay isn't showing me the right thing, and I can't make the Alt G. It's because I had team colors on. Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah, when you switch color... Alright, okay. I've got Miguel in the blue, but then when I switch to Slam, Miguel's in the red. So it's like I have to... Oh, this is so messed now. I've messed this up so hard.
Who needs color?
Who needs color? I mean, like, this is going to get confusing. If I go to Miguel's point of view, then... Oh, jeez. How is... Hold on. Alright, we're just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to just take the colors off of the overlay. There we go. We'll reset the colors on the overlay. And now we got it. Alright.
Okay, so what color do you have Slam and Miguel as?
Slam is blue and Miguel is red. We're all good.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, so that Drush from Miguel is still sneaking around in the back of Slam's area, keeping Slam's Drush busy and annoying him as much as possible. Slam will drop a blacksmith archery range, but his scout on the front is just now finding that Miguel is double palisaded everywhere. So Miguel here has done some pretty significant walling, and it's going to be really hard to envision Slam getting through those walls anytime soon. Behind those walls, Miguel will have 2 gold piles, a really nice safe wood line, his berries. Life is pretty darn good right now for Miguel.
Yeah, absolutely. And Miguel just archery, blacksmith, and he'll be straight up. I think that the team colors is bugged. Okay, no, it's not. It wasn't letting me take off team colors before. I was pressing Alt G and it wasn't changing it, but we should be fine now anyway. Sorry for the confusion. I've just removed the colors on the overlay so it doesn't switch around when I change perspectives. And that way, we should be all good. So, anyway, double range for Slam, and I think this is where it gets interesting. Slam is already 20% on the way to the Castle Age. Miguel hasn't clicked up yet, and Slam definitely wants to play from the Castle Age here, as we said before. Utilizing the extra range of those Brit crossbows could be pretty potent. And interesting that Miguel has gone so far as to even double palisade.
Yeah, I think the double palisading, taking extra villager time, might have given Slam a little bit of an eco advantage. And Slam kind of running a naked bootleg here. Like, he's not closed in, but he's going up. He's not that worried about walling everything super quickly. He's just going to take his time, and he's going to assume that since Miguel is double palisaded, that he's not going to have an army, and he's going to guess right. I mean, Miguel here just now getting his second range really doesn't have an army to speak of.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see Miguel just making scams almost, you know, like last game with Nikov, just defend, scams. But I think it's difficult. If he goes for crossbows, then he's going to be outranged by the Brits. If he goes for skirms, then, you know, he could end up being pretty weak to a mangonel from Slam, and I think that's where Slam might want to go with this, with a siege workshop once he hits the Castle Age. He is, of course, going to be able to take advantage of the cheaper town centers for the Brits as well. But I'm interested to see if he'll go for the siege workshop first or not.
Slam hits the Castle Age, and I guess we're about to find out what his plan is. Not a whole lot of wood at the moment. Did he drop a building already? Doesn't look like it. So Slam right now on 1 TC without a whole lot of wood in the bank, sending forward archers to try to aid his push. Looks like he could take down Miguel's barracks here eventually. Miguel almost has like a secondary set of walls made with his archery ranges and houses. So I don't think he's going to have villagers under pressure anytime soon. But Slam here definitely seizing some map control Fletching coming from Miguel, Castle Age coming from Miguel. And let's just see what he's queued up inside of his own ranges. Presumably, yes, it will be double range skirms at the moment.
Yeah, very, very defensive once again, and I mean, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. He's going to play a similar style to Nikov last game. Notice how the barracks gained HP when Miguel hit the castle age there, by the way. That's something to definitely keep in mind, the extra health from that upgrade affecting his houses and his barracks. But yeah, Slam slowly but surely breaking it down, but it's buying enough time for Miguel to get the defensive skirms out and get the elite skirmisher upgrade, which is really important here for him.
Yeah, elite skirm immediately clicked for Miguel. I won't say his color because we're not speaking about colors here. This is a non-biased cast, but at the moment, both players on 1 TC. Baltc and Arrow coming for both guys. Slam will have a 1 range advantage since he is Britons here, and he's now entered the Castle Age. But his opponent will have a natural counter to his army of crossbows. So I think we're going to see Slam go back. And Slam is still kind of the lead dancer in this particular match. And he's got to decide what to do next. Is he going to push with a Siege Workshop, or is he going to build some TCs?
Yeah, exactly. I'm interested to see because he doesn't really have that much wood surplus. And it's like he's very much all in on this kind of aggression right here at the moment. Everything is focused around this, and this is really nice. Like how the Brits can micro the crossbows to take out the skirms. The extra range just allows them to dip into range and then back out, and like Slam's doing a really good job here of actually picking off some skirms without taking too much damage himself. He's continuing to set the gather point forward and continuing to stay on 1 TC. Meanwhile, Miguel actually is going to get his second TC up first, and considering he was a lot slower to the Castle Age, that's quite impressive, but he is losing his army, and that second TC, well, that might be good for making more eco, but right now he needs some more military to defend from this aggression.
Yeah, I'm looking at Slam's routes that he can go. Now that that new TC is there, he's not going to be able to walk his crossbows across the north of the map of Miguel. He would have to go to the left, to the south, and Miguel should be able to wall that up with some quick houses. If he's ready with a couple of vills, I think he can still stop those crossbowmen from getting in.
Yeah, what I think is quite nice here is that Slam still has his 3 militia alive. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a huge deal, but of course they're going to take a few pot shots from the skirms. And right now, yeah, Slam doesn't know that the TC is there. He will scout it immediately, but that's a nice thing again. You have the extra range on the crossbows. You can start picking off villagers on farms. He's going to be forcing Miguel idle. But yeah, Miguel does have the defender's advantage. He is making counter units here, and Slam is going to end up having to go back, I feel, very soon, unless he follows this up with something a little bit more. I don't know. You know, do you think maybe Miguel should have done a Siege Workshop instead of the TC? Maybe you could do a Siege Workshop now.
I think that Miguel, if he can get a 3rd TC down to the left of his initial TC, he's got that whole area locked in. He's very fortunate, I think, that Slam has not gone to the south. I mean, there's villagers there hanging out in no man's land who really can't defend themselves. But for the moment, Slam's still hanging out in front of the ranges, picking off the new skirmishers being built. 3rd TC from Miguel will come up in the back. Slam's added a 2nd TC at home. But yeah, a Siege Workshop could have been the choice to make, but at the moment, Miguel is going to add another TC.
Yeah, I feel like Slam actually could have used the Siege Workshop aggressively here to really push this. I mean, the thing is, Slam's sending units 2 by 2 across the map. They're taking a long time to arrive. Meanwhile, Miguel's making a couple of skirms and they're immediately on the battlefield. So Slam's actually going to get pushed back here. And Miguel, I don't think he lost a villager, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, Miguel does have a villager lead by 4 right now. And even if Slam has a larger army, if half of them aren't at the battle, that doesn't really matter. So Miguel's put up a pretty decent defense, and he's going to be ahead by 1 TC as well, which is kind of... Well, I guess it shouldn't be that way against the Brits. You should usually expect to see the Brits getting up the 3rd TC first, especially if they've not made a monastery or a Siege Workshop.
Yeah, Slam just now adding the 3rd TC, but like you said, he'll be quite a bit later than Miguel. Slam's pop, though, he's got a couple of pop advantage, 4 villagers behind. But like you said, that army right now has not been able to take down any villagers. He's gotten quite a few kills from Miguel, but in the end, the kill death quite similar. And now we will see the defensive siege workshop from the red player. He's going to, or from Miguel, I should say, he's going to be able to defend this by adding in a mangonel. But for the moment, Slam has done a lot of aggressive moves, and he has not gotten paid off just yet for his troubles.
No, not at all. And I think right now he's got a decent number of army, 21 military. Miguel probably idling his ranges a little bit here. He's going to get cleaned up once again, which shouldn't really happen, considering that he actually did push Slam back, and he must have idled quite a bit, but the mangonel is on the way. The problem is, I mean, the Brits probably the best equipped here to deal with a mangonel and the castle age with crossbows. The extra range going to give them a huge edge when fighting against the mangonel, and Miguel's going to have to hit those shots, otherwise this could go south very quickly. And speaking of going south, Slam with his crossbows will be coming down this way, and that's exactly where he needs to go to kind of push Miguel away from these farms, find the villagers out here. Although Slam's taking quite a bit of GC damage as well, which is maybe unnecessary.
Yeah, Slam finally committing to running the gauntlet there through some TC arrow fire. But he's going to push Miguel off of some farms. He's going to have a little bit of room to work with here. He is going to have to micro against the mangonel. And I think having a little bit more space could help him. But Slam idling a bit of farmland for the moment. Here comes that mangonel, and we'll wait and see if Miguel can get a big shot in.
Well, I also want to see Miguel close this left side up towards the TC so that he forces these crossbows to go under the TC again. He is going to bring the vills into repair, though, hitting some nice shots so far, and Slam can't take the mangonel down. The skirms are going to do the cleanup here, and okay, Slam will kill 2 vills, but that's a catastrophe for him. That was such a bad fight for him in the end. Getting trapped in the back of Miguel's base, and it's certainly not worth it in the end.
Yeah, I was wondering why Slam didn't go south sooner, and maybe this is why. Maybe he was anticipating getting trapped down there like he did just now. He'll get 2 villagers for his trouble, but Miguel will turn the tide there. Slam at the moment, 400 food, 100 gold. Miguel pretty much has nothing in the bank. So we're not going to see these guys go up anytime terribly soon. About 65 villagers for each player. Go ahead.
Miguel going to fall foul to a thin wood again, as Slam can fire over. As he has to gather inside the TC on the right side. It is nice play by Slam to kind of split his army, but they kind of came in a bit late. He wasn't really keeping Miguel distracted in the south whilst attacking at the north. These guys kind of just wandered over after the battle was over. I think Miguel's done a great job defending this, and right now Miguel's going to be pulling ahead here, I feel, in eco, because his villagers are only costing 40 food instead of 50, and that's every single 25 seconds. That's 30 food saved.
Yeah, it's actually really amazing that the eco advantage hasn't really taken over just yet. Slam sending a couple vills over to stone, so keep that in mind. Maybe thinking about some late game castle position. Total vills at the moment +4 for Slam. We've got skirms from Miguel coming across the middle of the map along with a mangonel. And now it's Slam's turn to show us how well he can defend himself.
Yeah, I wanted to comment earlier about the TC from Slam on the south, kind of like in the open, in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of awkward because he can't get really, a very good position on this gold. So definitely very awkward for him there. He's actually got a lot of idols at the back of his base as well. His wood line's very inefficient here. And in fact, speaking of wood lines, this is going to be maybe an issue for him. He doesn't have much safe back wood. He's got to come forward for his wood now. And if Miguel starts kind of like reclaiming map control, it could be an issue for Slam. He could come over to his left side. He could come over to the front, but it's pretty exposed.
Yeah, it is a really tough position for him. Maybe that TC on top of the hill in the awkward position can be a launching point to keep that side wood line safe. But we'll wait and see for now. Slam grouping all of his crossbows on top of a hill here to defend his forward wood. He's got a couple mangonels as well on the front. Miguel is going scale barding armor, so keep that in mind. He has added in 1 camel for now, 2 camels, but more and more of those on the way, I would suppose. And for the moment, Miguel has still not closed the front wall. He's using that as an opening, but here comes another stable from the red player, Miguel.
Yeah, and once these camels are fully upgraded with +3 defense and bloodlines, they're actually pretty formidable. Even against the crossbows in the castle age here, they do pretty well. But still, we've got the mangonels coming out for Slam now. It's enough to push Miguel back, and he has got the mangonel advantage. So, you know, this combination, crossbows and mangonels versus skirms and mangonels, we know the crossbows are going to be probably coming out on top. So in this case, the spell's extra range, like we said, he can really focus down the mangonels of Miguel, and Miguel's going to lose one straight away. And yeah, Slam's going to take a decent fight right there, actually.
Yeah, Slam pushing Miguel back a bit. Miguel does not quite have the critical number of camels to run in and snipe those mangoes. So he is on the run for the moment, and he's losing a lot of skirms in retreat. Not sure if Slam has ballistics. Don't see a university down. Suppose we could just watch and see if these arrows are hitting.
Slam does have ballistics, yes.
He
He's
does,
got that.
okay.
Oh, I gotta love this overlay. It's beautiful. Look at that ballistics done for Slam. Very nice. And that's actually a really, really big deal for him. I mean, he's gonna want to get that anyway, but the fact that he has it right now, very nice to keep this aggression up. And it looks like he's gonna drop a castle very soon as well, bringing a lot of villagers forward. And he's just not got the 650 stone he needs, but he is gonna drop that down in a moment. I do like Slam's position, and he's even going to click to the Imperial Age first as well, which I'm pretty impressed about.
Sure, yeah. I mean, absolutely doing great to defend a map that was a little bit difficult to defend. His opponent walled up early, and Slam, who does take a bad mangonel shot, but he is actually in a really nice spot. The position of this castle is actually really important to me, at least. I think he can start to control late game if he puts it in a position that would defend some wood or some late game resources, but it's going to be right smack in front of Miguel's base.
Well, you know what they say, sometimes the best defense is a strong offense. If Miguel doesn't leave his base, then Slam can gather all the wood wherever he likes, but still,
Sure.
It's a good point. He is going to be very exposed if Miguel does counterattack, but I think Slam's hoping that he won't actually be in a position to counterattack due to the aggression he's putting on. It's not going to be a doubt castle, though. It is going to go up successfully, but these camels, Bloodlines +3 defense, they're actually performing pretty well versus the crossbows. At least it's a bit of a meat shield, but still the castle's going up, and that's going to end any real possibility of Miguel pushing out here for a while.
Yeah, Slam will drop a siege workshop next to that. Still has about 10 villagers forward, so if his opponent did hit Imp first, he could keep that castle up versus a couple of trebs. However, Miguel doesn't have any stone, so that's not going to be an issue. Imperial Age will be here for Slam 40 seconds before Miguel. Miguel dropping a couple siege workshops on the front to see if he can maybe ram down that castle, I suppose. But we've seen Miguel be denied building a stable and have a stable knocked down. So his ability to produce camels right now is much less strong than it was a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and I think he's got to go camels, to be honest. Camels and probably like rams. Or, yeah, I mean, he's doing rams right now. But interesting, like, Slam here did pikemen, and I think he's anticipating the camels. So he's dropping down the barracks, and he's going to have pikes out, and he'll probably do Howab as well. Just to deal with the camels here, because they are a real threat. Even against, like, Mask Arbalest or whatever, they're still a threat. Against the Brits, though, I mean, I do feel like Miguel probably needs a castle here, and... Right, well, he definitely will need a castle anyway, but I think he should consider the Elephant Archer in the super late game. Right now, they're adding more stables in the north, and the camels are coming out, but that heavy camel upgrade, man, it's so slow. Slam is going to be more than ready to deal with them by the time it's out.
Yeah, we've got Miguel going up to the north and building another TC. A couple of villagers out there on their own, just trying to take a little bit of a risk. He's also got some villagers in the center of the map taking wood. Clandestine lumber camp for you there. But just trying to find a place to get some safe eco, hiding in the fog of war for the moment. Slam's going to drop another castle right on Miguel's front porch, and that is pretty much GG for Miguel's front stone. At least for now, he is not going to be able to take that stone, and his secondary stone is also not in a very safe position. So we're not going to see a castle, I don't think, from Miguel. He just doesn't have safe stone.
I think that's a big problem for him. I mean, Slam's going to deny this, and I think this is really good. If you remember back to the game where he played versus the Viper, 2 weeks ago, he played versus Viper, and he did a very similar thing, just dropping castles on the front, denying the important resources, and he ended up getting a win there. This time around, he's doing similar, you know? He's got the Arbalest upgrade now. He's got that second castle on the front, conscription coming in there, but he's denying the stone. He's grabbing the extra gold. And this is going to starve Miguel of resources here, as Miguel, what's his answer at the moment? I'm seeing chemistry coming in. Bombard cannons, yes, are great, of course, but I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. He's looking a bit thin on the ground, put it that way.
Yeah, and the Treb's starting to roll out from Slam. He's also got a couple of longbowmen mixed in here. Be interested to see how many more of those he puts into the mix. Huge range advantage now for Slam with the +1 in Castle and +1 in Imp. So it's going to be really hard for Miguel, even with skirms, to defend this. At the moment, the red player is building mostly rams and skirms. He's got a couple of camels coming from the top of the map. And he's got some hidden eco, but not very much of it. Most of his economy is really about to get pushed on. And here comes Slam with another castle right on the front.
Straight down the middle. Like, Slam doesn't mess around. Just like a line of castles going across Miguel's base. But yeah, again, good castle position. And it's going to be so hard for Miguel to push this away without his own trebs. Sure, he can make the bombard cannons in just a moment. He has completed chemistry. But he's doing capped rams right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure. Miguel's actually on a counter-attack at the moment at the north of the map with a few camels, but he doesn't have the resources at the moment to do everything he wants. Like, gunpowder's a bit expensive at the moment, and he's just completely heavy camel, I think. There you go.
Yeah, he's in a really tough position. I think right now it's just, I hope my opponent will send some of his army back to deal with my raiding. But Slam is saying no bueno to that. He's going to start taking Miguel's front stone. He is going to start trebbing down Miguel's buildings, knocking down a TC already. And the writing seems to be on the wall right now for Miguel. Slam here could be winning like you win when you don't know the game at all. This is how I used to win when I was like a total noob playing the computer. You build castles, you build trebs under the castles, you just creep forward, and I guess it works for even the pros sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, creeping forward is all well and good, but if Miguel's in your economy, killing these exposed villagers on the left flank, you can't keep that up forever. Miguel is only down by 2 vills. In fact, make that head by 1 vill now, as he's going to raid with the camels. And, you know, camels don't take as much damage from buildings in the expansions. They're not classed as ships anymore. So, although they do take a little additional damage, they have got 5 pierce armor as the Indians. And if Miguel does manage to get that Imperial camel upgrade up, I think they could be pretty potent, but still, that doesn't stop the fact that Slam is starting to treb down all the buildings, and that's really going to stunt Miguel's military production out here.
One thing that's a bit of a bummer for Slam is he's got, you know, what would do well against those camels would be about a dozen pikemen.
Yeah.
Slam's got a dozen pikes in the middle of the map just fighting skirmishers. Like, he's got them all strung out in this weird area. The camels are not really doing a ton of damage. Here come archers now from Slam. But I just thought it was funny that he has all these pikes and they chase those skirms all the way across the map.
Well, he's killing them, so I mean, if it works, it's not stupid. But still,
Sure.
Yeah, elite longbowman coming in for Slam now. The only thing he's missing is +4 defense, which he's researching at the moment, and Yeoman for the +6 attack. And these guys are fully upgraded. You don't often see that often. Don't often see that in 1v1 so much, I feel. More often you end up seeing mass arbs. To see fully upgraded longbow, I like that. And Slam here just positioning these guys down and just killing all these vills from miles away. They can't even see the longbowmen. They just see the arrows as they die. It's pretty gruesome.
Also of note, Imperial Camel coming from Miguel. It's still going to take 1 more minute, but he will soon have those beefiest camels you can get, I suppose. And maybe he can start to do some raiding. He's got a couple camels that were inside of Slam's eco. They just did kind of a flyby. I think he's waiting for the Imp upgrade, Imperial Camel upgrade, to really go do some damage. But in the meantime, Slam's still creeping forward. Just 2 trebs here, but a bunch of longbowmen.
Oh, the south side of Miguel's base is so exposed. Like, Slam's just gonna send in these longbows. They're gonna kill so much. Oh no. Miguel. I mean, this is really reminiscent of the game of Slam versus Viper last week, 2 weeks ago. Similar story. Like Slam just pushes straight down the middle of his base, and meanwhile Miguel's like smushed up against the north of the map and smushed against the south. But these longbows, man, they're killing villas from absolutely miles away, and Miguel's just gonna run out of steam, I feel. But like I don't want to call it. I don't want to say, oh, it's over. He has got the Imperial Camels, 160 health, 5 pierce armor, 9+4 attack, 13 attack. They can still do some damage, and Miguel just has to find the vills, has to find that damage. Probably wants to clean up these straggling longbows, if anything, first.
Yeah, Miguel is running out of space. He's got a bunch of idols in the back near a mining camp. They've finished up that gold pile, but he just doesn't really have anywhere to send them. And I'm sure he's very busy microing everywhere else. Slam will drop another castle on his front porch. Onager now in for Slam.
Nice. Where's the next one going to be? On the TC of Miguel on the right side, probably. Like, I like it. It's funny. But, okay, I want to see the Imperial Camels. They're just so spread out, though. But that's exactly what Miguel needs to take advantage of. If Slam does split his units up, the Imperial Camels will eat them for breakfast. So, I mean, the power of the longbow is keeping them together, massed up, sitting underneath the castle, sitting next to the trebs. But yeah, I mean, this really truly looks over for Miguel. It's oh, look at this in the north. Just 4 longbows, just going to kill so many vills up here as well. And just look at the score difference. I mean, it's a 4K score lead. Miguel's clinging on to the fact that, okay, I've still got the Imperial Camels. There's still hope, right? We'll see what happens here. This is surely going to be such a bad fight for Miguel.
Yeah, Slam adding in more and more halbs here. He's going to have some of the upgrades on those as well before this fight comes in. So he's going to be ready to do some damage to the camels. Unfortunately, those camels will go in at the halbs, and they'll be arrow fire raining in from the longbowmen from behind. And these Imperial Camels, as beefy as they are, just really are not suited for this type of a fight. No. Arrow fire and halbs is their both of their biggest weaknesses.
Kryptonite.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, and they're gonna take a terrible fight and all end up dead there. And we would expect a GG from Miguel soon. I think it's pretty over at this point.
Oh, it's well and truly over. It really is. And you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got something on his mind, I guess. There it is. There's the GG.
Yeah. That's rough. That's really... I mean, he was trying to rebuild TCs, like, in the middle of the map, between Slam's forward castles and Slam's base. Like, just... Yeah, it's so rough. Like, he lost so many vills in the end. I think just 3 minutes ago, he was at 110 vills. He's now at 62, so he lost, like, 50 villagers in 4 minutes, which is really bad, obviously. Yeah, it's just too open. I mean, I think... If anything, Miguel probably wants to fight in a more enclosed space where he can focus his attention on one area rather than having to chase like longbows all around the map, which are killing his villagers from miles away. He just ended up getting spread too thin, I think, and obviously losing so much eco, he couldn't maintain military production, and that was that. Well played by Slam.
Yeah, indeed. Great game from Slam. He made a couple of assumptions in the early game after his opponent walled, and those assumptions turned out to be right. I mean, sometimes your opponent walls and builds units behind it and catches you off guard. Slam just basically said, I'm pretty sure he's booming, and he guessed correctly, and he basically gets rewarded for just a great meta strategy.
Yeah, I think the answer there for Miguel is probably something along the lines of bombard cannons and... elite elephant archers. That combo would work very well, but it's so slow, and he had no stone for the castles. So by Slam coming forward and dropping the castles to deny the stone from Miguel, I think he prevented the one unit combo that probably would have dealt with these longbows. Plus the fact that Slam had the speed advantage as well. The castle age did go very well for Slam, even after kind of failing a little bit and losing a lot of his army in the south of Miguel's base. He did have a good imperial time, and he was able to use that and push forward. So nicely done by Slam there. Very good. As we go into our third game next. And here we are. Welcome to game 3. Miguel versus Slam. And hopefully this time around I'm going to have the colors correct on the overlay. Let's see. Are the colors correct?
I've got Miguel in red, Slam in blue.
I'm going to have to take colors off the overlay, but that's fine. I've got Miguel in the red and Slime in the blue as well. Going to be an Italian mirror. On Team Islands. We've been here before today, but oftentimes Team Islands does end up ending with that landing, I should say. And we'll see how this one plays out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just say hi. I'm Killer B. Some of you guys might be new viewers, like you said, since we're on the front page today. This is Age of Empires, baby. It is alive and well. Hopefully you guys come and join our great community. What we've got here is a 1v1. We've got Miguel and Slam playing as Italians, basically the best water civ in the expansion. And we will see those guys squaring off on the water here on Team Islands. Lots of land for both players to work with. There usually are a couple extra boars and lots of extra food on land. So we will see guys with a really nice, strong eco early. They will build fishing and they will build water. But in the end, sometimes these games come down to a key landing at a key moment, getting onto your opponent's island and getting all up in their grill. And I think I've said enough here, right?
Getting up in their grill. I mean, you, in a nutshell, yes, absolutely. I was just checking out the map for the additional boar. It does look like both players have got 4 boar on their island. And we actually saw how that came into play earlier in the first set of games, Miguel versus Doubt, where Doubt was able to take advantage of the additional 2 boar on his island by bringing them in with his scout cavalry. In total, Doubt ended up having 3 boar. Miguel had the 2, and that enabled Doubt to pull off quite a comfortable fast castle on this map with a back dock, which is quite against the meta game of what you would expect to see in AOC, which is the front dock, 3 galley rush into 4 galleys into full water, versus what you see in the expansions, which tends to be more fast castle based, fireship based, and very, very different. But if Cision is still in the chat, I did see Cision in the chat earlier. Please tell us that you're going to make some kind of a change to the Italians. There's just literally no better civ on the water right now. And I feel like no one's even competitive with the Italians at the moment. In a 1v1. In team game, it's completely different, but in 1v1.
Cision is Italian. I'm confirming it right now. That's why he's made this civ so good. But yeah, Italians really, really OP on water maps. But yeah, it's all going to come down to strategy and timing. We've seen some interesting strategy on Team Islands in this tournament. We've seen people like the Viper drop his scout on his opponent's island early to annoy villagers, which is a really strange and interesting tactic. We've seen players land archers very often. We've also seen them land villagers and go with a monastery and a siege workshop push. So all of those options are possible, but right now both guys should be focused on getting their docks up and getting to feudal age and winning the water.
Look at this. The Tyrant boys have been sharing their secret strats. Slam killing 2 wolves on the way over to build that dock, keeping his villager alive. He did complete loom, so making sure that he does safely get that dock up. Imagine if he'd lost that villager. Not only would the dock be delayed, but the villager would be dead. That could be catastrophic. So very fortunate that he did complete loom. And I point out really specifically, it's fortunate he did loom because Slam notoriously in the EscapeAoE events so far has not had loom at 60 minutes of game time at least 3 times so far. So it's quite funny. But yeah, Slam's going to drop the dock in the back, and Miguel's going to dock on the front. And it's almost like deja vu at the moment, because this is almost exactly what we saw in the Doubt versus Miguel game 1 today, or our first set of games today, with Doubt docking in the corner and Miguel docking on the front. Now it's Slam's turn to do the same and dock at the back.
Yeah, it's a mullet defense. We've got business in the front, party in the back at the moment. That back dock buys you a little bit of time if your opponent gets up and gets the water advantage and comes after you. And it also allows you to basically fight in 2 pinch points if you want to. We'll see how this works out. Like you said, we've seen this strategy work before. But for the moment, we're just waiting to see who gets that feudal age click up first, who's got their economy sorted out in the best order to move forward through this game.
Yes. Oh, that was brilliant. The mullet defense.
Oh. Everybody loves a mullet, man. Everybody loves a mullet.
Oh, it's just too good. Business in the... Oh, jeez.
You're welcome.
Miguel,
You're welcome.
yeah, that's gold right there. Miguel definitely business in the front, but he's up to feudal. No second dock on the way yet, though. And this is interesting. Normally, you'd expect to see the villager at least moving towards the shoreline. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. Second dock on the way up. But yeah, Miguel's got to be careful not to fall into the same trap as he did against Doubt earlier on. He might react immediately with the landing and go for that. Obviously, we're expecting Slam to go for the fast castle, and Miguel has a small window of opportunity to do some damage before Slam actually reaches the castle age.
Yeah, Slam here is he's still not clicked up. He's still in the Dark Age. At the moment, 24 villagers for him. He's going to click up very soon, has the 500 food he needs, just one more villager coming out. Building his 4th and 5th now fishing ship, fishing in the back as long as he can. Looks like Slam may actually dock the far corner as well. He's got his scout there to kill a wolf, and it looks like he might have one dock on each corner of the back of his island.
Yeah, one on each corner of his base. Why not? But yeah, Slam's obviously thinking ahead here because the fish isn't going to last forever on this corner. He's going to need to move those ships over eventually as well. And yeah, keeping the scout nearby, really being very protective over his villagers here. And you can't afford to lose villas at any stage of the game, well, especially at the early stage. So he's definitely doing the right thing with that. I mean, what else is that scout going to do anyway? But Slam, yeah, up to feudal now, 32 population. He's got 4 vills going over to the gold. Meanwhile, Miguel, he's already feudal and he's already going to know. He already knows as soon as those 2 fire galleys are out and Slam still isn't in the feudal age, he's like, God darn it, not again. For the second time today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he's got 2 more fire galleys queued, but the writing is going to be on the wall soon. I think he'll identify it. He's probably scratching his head saying, did I miss it? Did I miss the feudal age upgrade coming in? No, you didn't miss it. It's still not quite here yet. Slam's second dock is slowly being built up. Looks like you will get that down in time. Miguel immediately going to the south of the map with his initial fire galley, and he's actually sending one to the north. So he's getting a ton of map vision right now, which actually could help him a lot in the late game.
Yeah, most of Slam's resources, like his main resources, are safe, but still, I mean, having that vision is nice. Going to know where to potentially land later on. But right now, he's just looking for the fish, and he's going to find them. Slam will hit feudal, and Miguel is there with his fire galley to start killing the fishing ships. And meanwhile, Miguel's immediately building the barracks, immediately building the archery range. This is literally deja vu right now. I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, I think this is Tyrant 101. Don't know who initiated this strategy, but when you win the water, you build a transport ship, you send across some archers, and you push the aggression. Interesting that Miguel has a fire ship on each corner. He's kind of pincering some of these fishing ships. Slam has nowhere to run to, really, because there's a fire galley sitting on each of his docks. Miguel adding in a transport ship now. He did add in a couple extra fishing ships. He's on 6 fish now. If your opponent's going to give you the water, you might as well fish in that water. I think that's from the Bible. And now we've got archers coming out and a blacksmith coming down.
Yeah, this is really important now. Miguel needs to get 4 or 5 archers across. Probably send just 4. 4 archers and fletching should be enough. And he needs to just kill like 3 or 4 villagers. At the very least, to deny some resources from Slam. But Slam knows that the likelihood of a landing is very high. He's already walled up the left side to prevent any archers coming in and harassing the vills on the gold. And although he is idling a villager there, and you know she's very bored right now, at least he is going to take that precaution and prevent those villagers from getting sniped, which is, I've got to say, better than Doubt compared to what Doubt did, ended up getting pushed away from the gold against his game versus Miguel because he didn't put up those defensive walls in time. So I think a nice play by Slam, and he's really just readying himself, fortifying himself for the potential landing as it comes in.
Yeah, Slam's done a nice job with his buildings to build a little bit of a makeshift wall already. Like you said, the palisades are up as well. I think he knows the meta as well as anybody, so he's expecting what Miguel is up to. Slam at the moment is about 65% of the way. Yeah, that's a weird guess, but 65% of the way up. Miguel still has not clicked to the feudal age. Slam adding in a 3rd dock as we speak. But Miguel just happily fishing away, happily sending over his transport with 3 archers and a scout. and we will see if he catches Slam a little bit off guard.
He's only going with 3. Okay, that's interesting. Slam's going to see the landing straight away. And unfortunately for Miguel, I mean, there could have been a chance that Slam would have missed it because his scout was just patrolling. But Miguel automatically attacked as soon as he came out of the transport ship, so Slam knows. And I was just about to say before that, you know, Miguel could come in here and maybe kill a villager on the berries, but Slam's walled it up and he's backed away. So, yeah, I think that Slam here going to be able to react in time and react with just the right amount of defensive measures to stop Miguel doing any serious damage here. Nicely done.
Yeah, Miguel's added a couple demo rafts, which is a really strange choice when you were winning the water, but Slam has added in more and more fire galleys as well. So Slam's ready to make a little bit more of a water push. He is stonewalling up the back corner of his base, and he's even going to have the details in order so that he doesn't wall any of his villagers out. So Slam here pretty well defended against that landing from Miguel. However, once again, not having thick enough wood, this wood line is really not going to be enough.
Thin wood syndrome really hurting a lot of players today, as Miguel's going to position himself behind it here and just start shooting over. Of course, I mean, Slam can actually move down here to the south. Again, it's another thin wood line. I guess that could be his downfall, but 3 archers aren't going to be so much of a problem. In fact, he didn't lose a single villager, and he had more than enough time to react and move away. Slam still might want to do something to get rid of the 3 archers, even though he's safe behind the walls. But for now, focusing on taking the water back is definitely the right thing to do. And he's going to be cleaning up all of the fishing ships from Miguel on the front. There's 3 which are retreating round to the back, but the damage is already done. And Slam is going to have the water on his side.
Yeah, there's some demo rafts being built from Miguel, but Slam, once again, like we saw in a previous water map, is doing a pretty good job to keep his fire ships separate. He's not bunching them up. Yeah, it's easier to micro them when they're in a bunch, but those demo ships do a whole lot more damage. So pretty good job from Slam there to anticipate what his opponent's up to. At the moment, Miguel is still in the feudal age, but nope, he's just now clicked up to castle. About 10% of that upgrade is done. Slam on the other side, I don't believe, has dropped a second TC.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to right now. He definitely doesn't feel the pressure to add the second town center yet. Really, he's just going to be focused on the water for the time being. We've got another landing coming over, 2 more archers, as Miguel is going to group them up. Or is he just going to send them back? I mean, who knows? As he just sort of stands off at the moment. Group of archers on the shore, group on the transport ship. He's loading them up. Okay, so he's going to load them up and go around the back and probably try and drop them around the wall. So a pretty smart move from Miguel. Going to be a while before he gets over there, but he should be able to safely do that. He does have 2 fire ships in the south as well. Meanwhile, though, oh, that's got to hurt. Miguel's lost both of his forward docks and all of the demolition rafts that were inside.
Yeah, really tough position right now for Miguel. He is going to sail around the back. I think this is really his only good chance to get some value out of those archers. He's going to try to go the long way. Slam will see him at this dock if he's paying attention, and he'll see that transport going by. That should give Slam enough time to quick wall himself up. He's adding in a second TC, and if he just adds a few more houses to the south of his current TC, those archers once again will be kind of walled out of doing any real damage.
It's nice that Slam's done Town Watch here, so he has the extra vision. And I noticed, actually, I watched Slam stream quite a lot, because he streams really late at night, and it's kind of like my early morning, and I'll tune into his stream, and I just get Town Watch very early a lot of the time, and it really does pay off in the end, more often than not. So Slam should have had the vision, but I guess he just didn't see it on the mini-map, and like you say, a couple of quick house wall here, and he's actually going to be fairly safe from this raid once again.
Yeah, quite safe, and adding a siege workshop just as icing on the cake. Slam still roaming around on the water. Ships at the moment are 8-1 for Slam in his favor. Miguel with just 1 dock on the back, not really competing for the water, has gone into crossbowmen now that Miguel has reached the castle age. And the onus right now, the pressure right now is on Miguel, who's about to potentially lose his transport ship. Slam has found that transport, and killing that ship is actually really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. No more landings coming across. And actually, you know what? I think Miguel... I don't want to say this is a mistake, but doing crossbow and bodkin arrow here It's really, I'd say it's like a risky investment, let's put it that way. He's really putting a lot of pressure on himself to do damage with these 5 crossbows. Isn't going to be any reinforcements. There aren't going to be any follow-up units. So he's researched crossbow and bodkin for essentially 5 crossbows. And sure, this has now, of course, forced the reaction of a Siege Workshop and a Mangonel from Slam, but I don't think he's really going to do that much more with these guys. Might be able to kill one more villager, but Slam's definitely on high alert right now, keeping his Mangonel in the vicinity, making sure that these guys aren't going to be a problem for him.
Yeah, Slam unable to kill that transport. The transport survives on 4 HP, which is very surprising to me, but we do have those crossbowmen still alive. They're dancing around with this Mangonel on the front. It's going to be really difficult for those crossbowmen to do anything of worth. A couple Mangonel shots, also TC arrow fire, plenty of villagers nearby to repair. I think Miguel is really going to have trouble making anything out of that group. However, it is a 3 TC build for Slam, but on the other side, we've got a 3 TC build for Miguel. We've got 46 villagers for each player. So the economy right now for Miguel is just fine. He'd like to have more water control, but Slam hasn't added any fish yet. So that water control isn't a huge advantage until just yet. Not just yet.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because, well, 2 things. Like, first of all, we saw a game earlier, it was the first game in the set, Baltc. Slam actually had the water control, but he didn't add any fish. Now is really the time to be adding the fish if you're Slam, and actually, as we say that, he is queuing the fishing ships up. Miguel clearly isn't even contesting the water, and Slam can see that he has no docks, so building the fish, absolutely at this point, especially since they only cost 50 wood compared to 75. And also, another thing that neither player is doing, neither player are taking their deer. And just look at how many deer there are. This, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 deer here. That's a huge amount of food. And all you need is a single mill because they're so close together. And you're going to be getting a huge food boost from that. I don't know why neither player would consider it, at least.
Yeah, it seems like they might be blind to it. They're so focused on some other things. Miguel's deer patch could be pressured by Slam, but yeah, Slam's deer patches, since he controls water, he can just go and take those deer with impunity. But at the moment, Slam still thinking about these couple of crossbows, 5 crossbowmen still in his base, chasing them around with his Mangonel. I haven't seen him lose any villagers there.
He lost 1 at the building the gates. He lost 1, but still, I mean, it's kind of funny. These crossbows, like, just running around in circles, literally doing laps of Slam's base, and yeah, obviously the Mangonel just can't keep up, but still not really doing too much damage. Of course, obviously making a little bit of idle time, but nothing major there. Miguel's ahead by 3 vills right now, but Slam is retaking some water with the fish as Miguel builds 3 docks on the front. Nice.
Slam's going to add in a second Mangonel too, which is a big investment for 5 crossbowmen. Yeah,
exactly.
Really surprised.
It's almost like, actually, yeah. I was saying before how Miguel maybe overinvested by doing bodkin arrow and crossbow. That's definitely an overreaction from Slam in this case. 2 Mangonels to defend from 5 crossbows is kind of a massive deal. I mean, 200 wood for the Siege Workshop, plus the wood and the gold for the Mangonels. That's quite a lot of resources right there.
Yeah, big investment from Slam. Maybe it signals how much he wants to expand his eco out to the right side. He doesn't want those crossbowmen dancing around in the back forever. For the moment, though, those crossbows continue to walk around, and we need a pedometer in the overlay. We need a step counter.
Yes.
Because those units...
Get on it, overlay guys. I've not seen them in the chat today, so I don't know if they're out there. But actually, speaking of the overlay and adding a pedometer, okay, that's a little bit out of realms of possibility. Not in the budget, no. But I tell you what might be in the budget. A planned feature that may or may not happen is that they told me that they think it's possible to have a kill counter for each individual unit, so that when you click on it, you can see how many kills it has in the overlay.
That is the best news I've heard all day. That was my favorite thing about some of the Command and Conquer games. You would click on a unit and you'd say, this guy has killed 40 people.
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous.
Amazing. And they think that they can do it for this as well, but I think it's quite an undertaking. That would be amazing, though. I would love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job spreading the rumor. Now they have to do it. They have to find a way to make it happen.
Exactly. But yeah, we've got a lot of docks coming up on the front for Miguel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the front for him, starting to produce fire ships now. And I think it's going to come down, okay, who hits the Imperial Age first? It looks like it's going to be Miguel, but we'll see. And obviously then the transition into fast fires, and who knows if they can manage it, a condottiero landing, which condo landing. I should just say condo landing. There we go.
Yeah, Slam going into the double mangonels. They're still hanging out in the middle of the map. He's going to expand his eco out in that direction here eventually. And he's going to feel really safe. Bit of an overinvestment, but it's all good. At least now he controls that corner of his map. Miguel, like you said, has quite a bit of resource, still has not clicked up. Slam on the other side actually will click up first.
He must have used his market then, because he was definitely behind in resources last time I checked. And he is also behind in villagers, so I can only assume he used his market there to click up a little bit faster. He probably didn't have to sell or buy much, but Slam will be up first. That's quite a big deal, but Slam will be Miguel will be clicking up in just a moment as well. And from there, it's really going to be a fight for the water and a fight over the fast fire ships, because I don't see what else they're going to be doing in this situation.
Yeah, it's definitely going to turn back into a water battle. Who's going to have possession of the water is the big question. Miguel at the moment is putting some pressure on Slam's front docks. Couple more demo ships now out from Slam. Looks like Slam has the numbers to win this particular fight, especially with a couple nice demos. And it looks like he might hit the Imperial Age with more ships floating at that particular moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Miguel right now, castle here on the docks. This is a nice castle position because he is going to the overlay crashed. It's like broken overlay. Rip. But yeah, he's going to be able to protect the docks with that castle there, so a little bit of foresight. But yeah, Slam has a lot of these fires out. And of course, the nice thing about fighting against fire ships, I guess, is that with only 2 range, they have to get very close to the docks to kill them, and then the castle can actually be useful. Whereas with the galleons, they can kill the docks without actually entering the range of the castle, and that's nice. But since fire ships are so strong, both players kind of have to go with fire ships here. And, Slam's actually made some galleys as well, which I do like.
Yeah, Slam was listening to you there. He immediately started queuing up galleys. So War Galley out for him. Imperial Age will be in 3 shakes of a lamb's tail. There it is. Slam is up to Imp. And right away, we're going to see him go with just now going with fletching. Sorry, my overlay is not working either, but is he upgrading?
He's doing fletching, yes, for the war galleys, I assume. He's also doing, he just queued up, 8 demolition ships just to clean up the fires from Miguel. But, yeah, getting back on the fire ships now. But I'm not seeing fast fire. I'm seeing galleon, though, at the back.
Galleon coming in the back on 75%. That's the dock I was missing. Yeah. Fast fire ship is coming in as well on the bottom left.
Yes. Okay, so fast fires and galleons, that's going to be exactly what he needs. Galleons to take down the docks, fast fires to take down everything else, I guess. And Slam here looking pretty solid. Miguel is Imperial as well, though, and fast fires on the way. Dry dock is on the way for the movement speed. That's actually really fast fires with dry dock. The movement speed is so good. He's just really banking on being able to win it with fires alone, it seems.
Yeah, Miguel at the moment is trying to pull this fight back into the range of his castle, but Slam just has too many units. The castle arrow fire is looking awfully puny. Slam's still adding in more galleon now, and he's got fast fire as well. So he's in a really dominant position. Miguel needs something to happen here, maybe some sort of a Hail Mary attempt to try to change the momentum of this game, because right now he's getting squeezed off of the water.
Yeah, he's adding more docks in the south. I think that's the answer, because Slam does have a lot of additional docks up at this point, and yeah, he has to replenish them before he loses them. Otherwise, he's just going to end up getting starved of units, basically, and he's going to have a lot of resources in the bank, but he's not going to have enough units to use enough buildings to spend those resources. But yeah, he's actually pushing out now, and that dry dock tech plus the fast fires is pretty scary. This could actually go pretty well for Miguel, to be honest with you. He's got reinforcements coming out pretty quickly. If he can get to the galleons on the right side, they're going to go down incredibly quickly out here. But Slam still has the numbers advantage on his side. Oh, it's close. It's really close. The occasional demo ship coming in as well. But I think Miguel will get the upper hand. I've got a sneaking suspicion.
Miguel at the moment has pretty much only fast fires. Slam had a few demos. He's been firing from distance with war galleys. Slam is regrouping here, but I think it's still anybody's fight. Miguel at the moment he's holding his ground. Yeah, he's pushing him back.
Miguel's. The momentum has switched, and like it's kind of weird because when you watch these fights, it can look really even, and then like in the blink of an eye, it's like, oh, okay, one player's just won. And I think that's exactly what Miguel just did right there. Fast fires coming out all day long. And I mean, at this point, it's all about macro, isn't it? It's about keeping those docks constantly queued out. It's about making sure you've got the eco set up to constantly produce units, and then not letting slip, not letting the foot off the gas. Miguel did just that. 35 army versus 11, 36 ships. He doesn't have a single land unit right now, as he's building a transport ship, and, well, for the nth time, we're probably going to see the game end with a Condottiero raid.
Yeah, Slam getting cleaned up in the corners. He's trying to build up units inside of his docks, but Miguel putting so much pressure on those docks. Slam will get a defensive castle up to protect the corner of this area, but still many of these docks are going to go down really, really quickly. There is just a red, there's just a red line in front of Slam's island now from all of these fast fire ships. Miguel there with a really nice push. I didn't see that coming, and it's relegating Slam to building demo ships and trying to get a little bit lucky. At the moment, though, Slam does have that castle up. He's going to redock in the north, and he's going to continue to fight this out. We saw Slam in a dominant position about 5 minutes ago, and maybe he's hoping to reclaim that by sneaking up on Miguel.
Miguel's in a great spot. He's got a lot of surplus resources. He's going to load up the transport ship with the Condottiero, and he's going to head across the map now with a really potent unit. Of course, Slam's having to rebuild his docks. That's costing him a lot of wood that he can't then spend on ships. It's going to snowball here, and I think this is going to be a Miguel win, to be honest with you. I can feel it, as he is going to drop those Condottiero across, and I don't think Slam's going to be prepared to deal with it. But saying that, where are they? Where have they gone? Oh, there they are. They're in the south. There you go.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be I don't want to say it's going to be GG straight away, but it's going to be pretty quick if Slam doesn't react.
Yeah, at the moment, Slam, resource-wise, is somewhat balanced, but of course, 5 or 6 of those, and then another group of 5 coming in will be a real problem. Slam trying to push back on the water with demo ships, but not able to actually get the job done. Excuse me. He's just continuing to lose ground and lose docks, and even losing some villagers now. Really having trouble reclaiming the water. And the Condottiero, the Condoleezza Rice unit, is coming in and starting to roam toward the meat of Slam's economy.
Tell me, Condo, tell me when, says Miguel as he drops the Condottiero across. Slam's reacting by building some barracks here. Miguel's just finished +4 defense, though, and he's ready to rock and roll underneath the TC. He doesn't care. He can afford to take the arrow fire if it means delaying the gold income of Slam and being a thorn in his side. But, I mean, he isn't going to be able to deal a finishing blow here, I think. I mean, Slam has got the barracks up. He is making his own condos. He is sitting under his TC here. So it's still salvageable. I mean, on the water, Slam has suddenly now got a lot of fast fire ships. He's actually going to be able to rival Miguel's army, since Miguel has split his army up. But there's still a lot more condos coming in. The question is, can Slam defend and then retake the water? And I almost think the answer to that is yes. What, Miguel dropping 2 trebs across, though? Okay, Miguel.
Yeah, really interesting, really aggressive play with the double treb. Go ahead.
Yeah, look at these. I was just going to say, Miguel's actually winning this fight just because of the upgrades, I think. He's got +4 defense and +2 attack. Slam doesn't even have +1 attack, only +1 defense. And
but here comes...
Go ahead.
I thought Slam was going to go forward with those vills and take down the trebs. He's got about 15 villagers hanging out in the front, and the trebs right now are not guarded. I wonder if he can get those down. But Slam panic castle in the middle of his eco, just trying to keep himself afloat. And it looks like he will not send those Vills forward. They could definitely take down those Trebs right now. But that being said, more condos coming across.
And in the meantime, you got this huge fight with fast fires in the middle. That was really, really nice to watch. But Miguel's actually going to get the victory there. Do you know what I like about the fast fires? They're so quiet. They're like silent death on the water. Like all the other units are like, ugh, and like ka-ching, ka-ching. And like the fires are just a really relaxing, soothing sound. You know, but still so deadly, and Miguel's going to get most of these kills on the middle, I think. He's got the additional 10 ships on the water. And meanwhile, he's kept his Trebs alive. He's denied 2 gold mines from Slam. And there's more Condotero where that came from as he drops another 10 across. So I'm feeling this is a Miguel win, but Slam is holding on for dear life. But, oh, wow. He's going to end up losing Vills on the gold in the north as well.
Yeah, Slam starting to get harassed from the water by a couple of fast fires. That's a really nice job from Miguel to harass there. Total ships right now is just 9 for Slam, 27 for Miguel. So it feels like it's GG here.
It really is GG right there. And yeah, well played to Miguel. I mean, it happened so quickly. It was like 1 minute, Slam's got water. Next minute, it looks completely even. Both players are fighting in the middle of the map. And then suddenly Miguel's like 40 ships and Slam has 5. Next thing you know, before that battle has even ended, Miguel's landed Condotero across. And then some Trebs to follow it up with. I liked the addition of the Trebs. Just killed the TC. And just simply by having the upgrade advantage on the condos, he was able to really punish Slam there. It's amazing what difference an additional 4 attack and 2 armor can make. Or 1 armor in this case.
Yeah, I hate to see Slam go down in such a close game. He's a great player, great guy to watch. But Miguel here is starting to gain some footing. He's going to win this series. He's had a rough start to this tournament, but hopefully he can be a spoiler and he can be a fan favorite as we go forward. I think a series win like this can really put some lead in his pencil and maybe just give him the boost that he needs to start maybe gaining some confidence and winning a bunch more games. So good games to Miguel, good games to Slam, and a nice series here.
Yeah, you know, every game counts. We spoke about this a bit earlier. We said, you know, every game counts. So even if a player has no chance at finishing in a podium position, they are still going to, you know, have potential to win money, basically, for every set that they play. So it's absolutely still worth it for all of them. And I think as well, it's even just an experience as well. You get to play in a tournament setting, serious games versus serious players, and a little bit of money on the line with new civs as well. I think the players are enjoying that, and even if there's no chance to actually win the event, just the experience itself is always worthwhile.
Absolutely. Great set of games, man. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for putting this event together. It's been a lot of fun.
No worries, and thanks for coming as well. I always enjoy casting with you. Man, the mullet defense.
Yeah,
what
the
a
mullet
genius
defense.
you are. I love it.